First of all, Kevin, we're actually more than halfway through Oshkosh 2013. We've had great weather, and there's a bit of a buoyant spirit here that seems to suggest that while things may still be tough, people are looking forward to better times. What do you think?
You know, I sense the same thing, Jim. I see a lot of kind of new innovative thinking taking place throughout Oshkosh, and that seems to be bringing the spirits up. I'm really optimistic.
Let's get into some of the Bendix-King news that was made this week. First of all, I can't tell you how many times I've been preaching to folks in the experimental community in particular that, what we really need is a decent angle of attack system. There have been a lot of small experimental systems, but nothing associated with the company with the gravitas of Bendix-King. Wow.
You know, general aviation safety record has been a topic of a lot of discussion. In the last 5 years, there's been some significant improvement in CFIT, the controlled flight into terrain. A lot of it linked back to increased awareness of terrain hazards. We think that there's an opportunity to do the same sort of a step function improvement when it comes to loss of control in the airport environment. And we believe that angle of attack indicators will play a big role. So we worked hard to develop one, and we think it's just top notch for GA, and we are doing it at a very affordable price point. I mean, $1,600 and then a very easy installation, completely separate from all your other systems, goes in a little access panel in the bottom of the wing so you don't have to add any new penetrations. It really lets you know when things are slowing down. I mean, you bank that airplane and stall speeds go up. People don't realize that. This is really going to be a big improvement there, and it has the additional benefit. You get that thing centered and you fly in right on Alpha, you're going to grease that landing every single time. Right now it's for experimental aircraft. We're working and hopefully be able to get FAA approvals that allow us to put it in certified aircraft later on.
Now, as I understand, there's also been a transponder upgrade.
Yeah, we announced this week the KT-74, which is a Mode S transponder with an extended squitter, ADS-B compliant when connected with an appropriate GPS WAAS position source. Again, a very affordable product, and this one is a slide-in replacement for the venerable KT-76s. For those that are out shopping for a transponder, they want the ability to have ADS-B compliance in the future. This is just a perfect one. Price point is right on the money.
What else are you showing people here at Oshkosh this year?
Well, we're finally announcing the availability of the KSN 770. Again, a product that's priced really attractively. And then we also announced its little brother, which is the KSN 765. And that is the same unit, just delete the nav and comm radios. And a little bit lower price. And we think that it's going to be a good display for people's hazard systems and for other reasons. So we're very excited about those products.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
You can't walk through a place like Oshkosh and not feel that there's tremendous potential to aviation, that aviation should be everywhere, that it should not be suffering some of the foibles that it has over the last decade or so. When you see something like this, what impressions do you have? What can you relate about what might be done to take all this talent, all this innovation, and make sure that more people see it and use it?
There's a couple things that I think about. One of them is I never cease to be amazed by the power of technology. The application of the things that we're learning in other customer segments, whether it has to do with wireless communications, electronic control of power plants, there are so many different types of technologies that can find their way into aviation and make flying easier, safer, and more affordable. And so that's one of the things that goes through my mind. The second thing is I think a lot about the next generation of pilots. My wife and I have a 27-year-old son. He'd be a perfect candidate to be a pilot. How do we get that age group interested to the level of passion that guys like you and I have? And I think that there are ways to get through to that. And I think, again, the Redbird simulators, very affordable, very modern approach. And it's a way to start bringing people into aviation, short of actually starting to take lessons. They can start to feel what it's like to fly in airplanes.
295 and counting. That's the number of lives saved so far by the revolutionary BRS airframe parachute. See and read why BRS can keep you safe at www.brsparachutes.com.
How do you see Oshkosh 2013 compared to years past?
You know, I see it as being more optimistic. I see people that, and I don't know if it's because it's cooler and more comfortable, but I'll tell you, I talk to people now and they're up, and it's not just because they want to be more optimistic. There's reason to be. There's new ideas, there's innovation, as I talked about, application of technology. I think that we're going to see the EAA organization and AirVenture. I think it's going to play a very important role for many, many years to come.
5-10 years from now, 2018, 2023, what will Bendix-King be doing? What will it look like?
We're going to focus on the role of the pilot and what they need to fly an aircraft safely and effectively and efficiently. You know, there's going to be changes taking place, and one that we all know about is the mode of communication between ATC and a pilot. The shape of that is going to change. We need to think ahead and be ready for that and help pilots make the transitions that are going to be occurring. There's other things that we can do to help take the workload down for a pilot, thus increasing the kind of the bandwidth that they have to spend on the important parts of flying an airplane, which is the stick and rudder skills and being a safe pilot.
Final question. What's the coolest thing you've seen here?
Oh boy, you know, I'll tell you, just my gut reaction is I saw this E-Spider, appears to be kind of like an ultralight with a unique electric motor, and that's the product that I stopped and walked around and looked at and looked under and tried to figure out how they had it set up, because I'm convinced that whether it's electric cars like the Tesla Model S, which is a fabulous car, electric motorcycles like Zero Motorcycles, which I think are just one of the greatest, I've test driven one, they're great, or electric airplanes, I think this is the future. And so when you asked me what really caught my attention, it was that E-Spider.
Kevin, thank you so much. We look forward to working with you throughout the next year or so in particular, and coming back to this conversation at Oshkosh 2014, where hopefully there's just going to be a whole bunch of new Bendix-King goodies to play with.
We'll try to make that happen.
Good deal. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jim.